That's a wide body beat. That's a wide body beat. That's a wide body beat.
Panther Nation, what's good? Welcome back to Carolina's Armchair GM. I am your host, CJ. And as you can see right down here, the Carolina Panthers have swept the Atlanta Falcons this season. Okay. No, it might not sound like much, probably nothing much at all to the Falcons fans. I know a lot of them are pissed today. The Twitter feed for the Atlanta Falcons, I mean, it is crazy because it kind of looks like our Twitter feed last year. There's just absolute uproar. Everybody wants everybody fired, and then and to make it worse, and I hate this for both of them. Michael Penix is probably out for the season, and then Drake London is at least out next week's game with a sprained PCL. Okay, never wish any harm on any player in the NFL. So I hope that both of them can recover. I hate to hear that, I really do. But yeah, but hey, man, the Panthers gotta. Hey, let me tell you that when I say that game was, like up, bottomed out, and went up again, almost bottomed out a couple times, and then back up again. That was a wild ride yesterday. I was out here hollering, screaming. My wife, she was sitting there looking like, yeah, you're gonna have to pick something and just you have to either be quiet or something. But yeah, man, it was a great game. A career day for Bryce Young. And it seemed like everything was flowing. You know what I mean? I had a slide up here last week about trust issues, between Bryce Young and Dave Canales, and it looked like if there were any kind of trust issues, a lot of them were ironed out in this past week of practice. So yeah, man. So yeah, it was a great day, a good game. Excuse me. And I'm glad our Carolina Panthers are now 6-5. And thanks to the Buffalo Bills who beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we are now only a half game behind the Buccaneers for first place in the NFC South. All right, Panthers fans, let me say that again. We are currently a half a game out of first place in the NFC South. Now, mind you, we still got a hell of a hill to climb, okay, to even think about, becoming division champs. We got a hell of a hill to climb, all right, but we're trending in the right direction, all right, trending in the right direction. Okay, hey, and on a real quick, serious note here, let me say this. If y'all saw the last live that I did with me and Tony on the preview, there was a moment earlier in the live where I did have kind of I was kind of out of it for a second. I do suffer from epilepsy. I was diagnosed back in 2016. I had a couple of seizures a month apart in 2016. Never could find out why they happened, but what I do deal with now, no more of the I can't remember the official name of it. The two seizures I had, they're the ones where you kind of on the floor and the convulsion seizures. There you go. So I had two of those. Thank the good Lord above, I hadn't had one since. But what I do suffer from occasionally, and this is really widespread, but it did happen at the beginning of the last live. I have what is it called? Absent seizures. Okay, where I kind of space out for a minute, and then I'll have them, and I can tell my wife, I'm like, you know what? Hey, I'm feeling a little iffy right now. Just check on me in a second. Everything is cool. And I had one at the beginning of the last live. And if y'all notice, when I was doing the members video, I was out of it for a minute. I had to play the members video twice. And then I know Poppin put a comment up. And when I tell you I had a hard time reading that darn comment, it was crazy. But luckily have my big cuz on here. He was able to kind of pick up for me and get things going until I snap back into it. But I say that to say that November is National Epilepsy Awareness Month. Okay. So if you see anybody having signs of any kind of a seizure or anything, maybe they're spacing out, don't know why, that might be a reason. Okay. Shout out to the missus. She suggested that I get on here, and say, what happened to me, because it was plainly obvious if any of y'all saw it, okay. But yeah, but it happened. I just wanted to say that say something, about that, and hopefully spread a little bit of awareness, on epilepsy. Like I said, I thank the good Lord above. I don't have it, like a serious case of it. You know what I mean? But those things do happen to me occasionally. So if any of y'all were watching and you thought that I might have, looked kind of out of it for a second, I definitely was. Okay. So, like I said, serious note, real quick. November is National Epilepsy Awareness Month. I just wanted to mention it. All right. I appreciate y'all taking the time to listen to me. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the comments. All right. Starting off with my baby. How you doing? Said good evening. Feeling great. B. Amos, what's going on with you, man? Will, keep pounding. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, let me tell you, Will had him a good time at the game, boy. Good old time. B. Amos, I'm glad you're okay. You had me worried for a second. Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I will say this. Out of all of those that I've had, that was probably the worst one. That was definitely the worst one, because I mean I couldn't get myself together for a good little second there. Usually it's kind of like it happens, I'm like, boom, I'm right back at it. But yeah, I appreciate you, B. Amos. He's no more Grand Mall. What is Grand Mall? Okay. What's going on, Earl? How you doing? Rock Jones said, God bless your cousin and the Panthers. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, speaking of God blessing people, all right. Hey, God bless and thank you to all of the members of the front office. Excuse me, all of the co-GM members as well. Thank you for your support as always. Even if you were gifted a membership or you re-up every month, I appreciate everything and everybody that I appreciate all the members, no matter how you got to be a member. I hope I do enough on this channel to make you want to re-up for the next month. That 99 cents a month goes a long way to helping me do things here on this channel, and I greatly appreciate all the love and support. All right. So let's go ahead and get a few more comments here. All right. Yes, like my door likes to say hearts. DT, grandma's. Oh, okay. Okay, got you. Thank you. I appreciate it. What's up, Dig? Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Mr. Hunky Dory, what's going on? Hey, let me tell you, Mr. Hunky Dory, we was chatting throughout the whole game, boy. If anybody know how crazy I was getting during the game, I was texting in all caps. I mean, all caps, the whole game. I was cussing up a storm, man. Let me see. Polycythemia vera. I get dizzy, vertigo. Also, I have to take naps at odd times. I got you. I got you. I feel you on that one. Hey, but I'm glad you worked through it, Mr. Hunky Dory. Doug, what's up, Douglas? How you doing? He said, just stop by, man. I appreciate you checking on me earlier. I made it back to Texas, now at the school. Hey, let me tell you, when I say I wish they had frequent driver miles, because Douglas would be set for life. That boy burned. I'm sure he needs an oil change every 36 hours. Let me tell you, Doug be burning up the road. But I'm glad you got back, man. Got back safe, man. Hey, appreciate you, dog. See, face it. I owe Bryce an apology. Hey, no, you know what? No, nobody owe Bryce no apology. You know what I mean? Like I said, everybody is entitled to feel how they feel when they're feeling that way. Okay, and then also everybody has a right to look at what's happened and make changes to your perspective. Okay, it's not a certain, like if you feel a certain way one day, you got to feel this same certain way, for the rest of your life about said situation. You know what I mean? Hey, let me tell you. Just hopefully we continue this, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I appreciate you joining me. Dustin, yeah, you were doing that OTP. I sure was. I sure was. I was like, I said, why in the hell do we give them the damn ball? I was mad, but I was like, you know what? I stand corrected. It worked out. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet now. Zunky Dory said, by the way, CJ, can't wait to see Red Swarm wearing your chain, Nelly May. Hey, speaking of that, hold on, hold on, y'all. Okay, so me and my good buddy Red Swarm, I like to call them two teams. Okay, we made a bet. Was not last week before last. So if the Panthers lost, I would have to 3D print, okay, get Maury 3D print me a Falcons chain, and I would have to wear it live, for an hour, okay. And if the Panthers won, okay, I'm still going to print a Falcons chain, but it's in Carolina colors. All right. So what we have here, all blue on the links. Look at that bad boy right there. Falcons chain. I think it looks way better in Panthers colors in general. But look at that right there. A nice Falcons chain in Panthers colors. Okay. And Red, if you're watching, I did get the message you sent me, and I will be sending this out in the morning. Okay. Yeah. I'll be sending it out in the morning. But yeah, man, let me tell you, I had to, as soon as I made the bet with Red, I came home that same day and I put the design in, and I was like, okay, cool. I said, everything is done. All I got to do is change the colors, or don't change the colors, depending on if we won or lost. But man, let me tell you, I was never so happy to go in there. I was like, processed blue, white, and black. I said, bump the gray. I said, because they got gray in there. I know they got black, but that's the main color for both of us. But I was like, yeah, nah. I said, let me go ahead and put these colors in here. But yeah, man, Mr. Earl saying, what's up to Doug? Said Doug is a truck driver in secret with all those miles. He really is. I swear he is. Man, those refs pissed me off so badly on those holding calls on JC, man. Horrendous officiating. Yeah, and to be honest with you, it kind of looked even more sketchy at the end when the field goal was good, and you had both the refs look at each other like, did you see it go through? Because the announcer was like, I don't know what the ref's talking about. The field goal went through. And then, everybody was dapping it up and hugging. I said, man, I said, that looked hella suspect. But I get what you're saying, because on that one third down penalty that JC Horn got, crazy thing was they called a penalty on that one. And then a couple plays later, Corey Thornton had one that was clear pass interference, and they didn't throw the flag. And I was like, I said, okay, they're trying to make up for it. But my thing is that was on like second down, but the one y'all called on JC was third down. It extended the drive. Hey, come on, y'all gotta do better, man. That's what I always say. If I could change one thing with these refs and the replay system, be able to replay pass interference. Okay, be able to replay holding and things like that. All right. Mind you, you don't give the coaches any more challenges, but you open up what they can challenge, because some of these plays that you cannot look at are things that have that impact the outcome of the game. Look at the Lions and the Eagles game last night when old buddy got called for pass interference on AJ Brown. If anything, AJ Brown should have been called for offensive pass interference for pushing him. My thing is that was just good hand fighting by the defender and AJ Brown. And they threw the flag, and then that was the game. So, but yeah, man. But I feel you, man. Those refs was they were terrible. Yes, sir. Look, that was said. Oh no, CJ has his own setup now. If you look behind him, yeah. I do. I do. I'll burn them both up today, boy. Let me tell you, I've been printing stuff since 7:00 this morning. I got done a little while ago. I was going to go live at 6, but we got a late message about my daughter having a fall sports award ceremony. Okay. And shout out to my baby Layla. All right. Layla Bryant. She won sportsmanship. She won the sportsmanship award and the most valuable golfer. Okay. She is on the Philip O'Berry women's golf team. Shout out to my baby. Hold on. Let's say I did this right here. Shout out to my baby. All right. And the award she got tonight. Luckily, they called her team first, and then we were able to get up and get on up out of there, because we really didn't know anything about it until early this evening. So yeah, when I say last minute, I mean last minute. All right. Let me get back to the comments here. Doug. All right. Let me see. Ben the realist or realize what's going on with you, man? How you doing? All right, excuse me, y'all. Okay, let's go ahead and get into the slides. All right. So the game leaders, all right. So we had Bryce as as PPP, shout out to PPP, as he likes to call him, Bryce Jarquavius Young, okay. 31 for 45, 3 touchdowns, 448 yards. 448 yards. Okay. Michael Penix was 13 for 16 for 175 yards before he got hurt. Rico Dowdle had 19 carries for 45 yards. Bijan Robinson, 23 carries, 104 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Teteroa McMillan, 8 catches, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Drake London had 7 catches for 119 and was damn near close to having a touchdown in the first half too. Caden Ellis had then they had 5 sacks on Bryce Young in total, but it was 5 different players that all had 1 sack apiece on Bryce Young. We didn't get any sacks on Michael Penix nor Kirk Cousins. All right, Trayvon Merrick led the way with 11 tackles, and I think it's Ronnie Harrison Jr. for the Falcons. He led the way for them with 11 tackles as well. All right, team stats: 486 total yards. Okay, it probably would have eclipsed 500 had it not been for the lost yardage with the sacks. The Falcons had 1 turnover, we had 0. That 1 turnover was crucial. It was crucial. We went down and scored on our first possession of the second half, and then we got a turnover on the ensuing kickoff. And I can't remember if we went down and scored or got a field goal or what, or if that was the one where Bryce got sacked on 4th down. All right, we had 22 first downs to their 23. We had 8 penalties to their 6. We were 6 of 17 on 3rd down. They were 4 of 11. All right, we were 3 of 5 on 4th down. 3 of 5 on 4th down. Atlanta did not go for it on 4th down one time. All right, in the red zone, we were 2 of 6. Okay, 2 of 6, and they were 3 of 3. But the good thing was the 3 of 3 for Atlanta, all in the first half. Okay, all in the first half. Time of possession, the Panthers almost possessed the ball 10 minutes longer than the Falcons. Okay, 10 minutes longer. When I say the offense was grinding the clock down, and to think that we had the ball so much and Bryce was throwing the ball, a lot. He had 45 attempts. You know what I mean? But we still possessed the ball 10 minutes longer than the Falcons. All right. Let me get off full screen here. Let me see. Mr. Hunky Dory says too many bad calls, head to head or touching helmet pisses me off. How can you take people in? How can you tackle people anymore? Was waiting for Shirellis to get ejected for playing football. Man, hey, shout out to Claude and Shirellis, man. Shout out to him. I'm not gonna lie to you. In the back of my mind, I was like, he gonna be the biggest liability in this game. And you know what? I am glad that I was wrong. All right. He said, "What up, CJ Chat? What's going on?" 448 new area code for the for the Penn Stadium. Man, that would be wild. Oh, let me say, don't tell no Falcon fan that. Supernova Moore, what's going on with you, man? How you doing? What's good with you? All right, but yeah, a great day statistically, for the Panthers, on offense. Not a great day statistically on defense in the first half. Okay, great statistic on defense in the second half. All right, and we'll get to that in the slide here in a little bit as well. But like I said, a career day for Bryce Young. All right. Okay, keys to victory. All right, I had stopped the run the ball, open opportunities, pressure Penix, and assignment football. I put green on stop the run. Okay, because Michael Penix had 100, he had 93 yards at halftime. Okay, he had over 100 total. I think he had like 17 receiving yards, if I'm mistaken. So he had 100 total yards at the half. Okay, but in the second half, Michael Penix Bijan Robinson only, and I said Michael Penix. I'm sorry, Bijan Robinson. Okay, he ended up with 104 yards. Okay, 104 yards for the game. We ended up giving up 125 total. Okay, and that's why I put it in green. Now, mind you, we had a bad first half stopping the run, but they had an excellent, and I mean excellent, second half stopping the run. They also had an excellent second half against the pass as well. Okay, run the ball. I got that in white. I'm gonna put that as kind of a wash. The Panthers only had 67 total yards on the ground, but I will say this: Dave did not give up on it. There was some timely runs. There was some runs for first downs, that kept drives going. I really wish that there was a couple more plays where Dave would have ran the ball, especially that fourth down call where they got kind of cute and did the play action pass, and Bryce Young ran out and then got folded like a piece of paper by Caden Ellis and was like a yard short of the first down. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I really wish that was the play where they would have lined up Rico, Chuba, whoever, and run the ball in. But like I said, he didn't give up on it, but also he didn't, like go out there and be like, okay, I'm going to force feed this running game until it works. And then it was like it was a situation where it wasn't like the Saints game where you in the fourth quarter still out there going run, run, pass, run, run, pass, run, run, pass. Being predictable is everything. You know what I mean? So that's why I put it in white. I'm gonna kind of call it a wash on run the ball. Open opportunities. Okay. Open opportunities. I feel like we took advantage of a lot of them, especially on offense. Okay, especially on offense. The deep shot to Xavier Leggett, the deep shot to Ted McMillan. Another shot to Xavier Leggett that got about, I'm gonna say about 20, 30 yards down the middle of the field in the second half. Just it was an aggressive approach, by the offense. Okay. Dave Canales said he didn't have any more plays left in the playbook, and I damn sure believe him today. I damn sure believe him today. Like I said, open opportunities. I think they took advantage of them very nicely in this game, and it led to us being able to come back and get the win. Pressure Michael Penix. I put that as red because, like I said, we didn't get any sacks on him nor Kirk Cousins. Our edge rushers, the pressure is there some games, but it's sometimes it takes a little too long. But I guess that's football. Okay. If we and Nick Scorton is learning, Princely Umami Ellen is learning. You got DJ Wanham, Pat Jones is out for the year, and you also got to think we went up against one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, who didn't give up a single sack the last time we played them either. Okay, but we were able to get a little bit more pressure, on Michael Penix in that game. All right. We got a little bit of pressure. There was one third down, and I'm sitting there like, Evero, don't you blitz. Don't you do it. Don't you blitz. And lo and behold, he blitzed. And we got to him. Well, not got to him, but we got pressure on him and made him throw a pass that was short. And I was like, okay, I retract my previous statement. Let's go ahead and get the ball and move on. Okay. But yeah, man. Would love to see a few sacks on the board, period. But I'll take it. Assignment football, I have that in white as well. I'm gonna kind of give that a wash because, like I said, in the first half, the defense was definitely not on their P's and Q's. Okay, definitely stepped up in the second half of that game. So, like I say, and I got to slide, a tale of two halves, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. Okay. Underground West, what's going on? Bryce was a warrior on the field yesterday. I got to give him credit, man. Let me tell you, that little joker is tough. He is tough. I did hear earlier. I did hear earlier somebody say they thought he was faking the injury, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Like I said, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I respect that. But I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't think he was faking the injury. Let me tell you, he got to that podium after the game. He was limping, and I paused that video. That right ankle definitely looked a little bit swollen. So I'm sure he was in some pain. I know he wished that bye week was probably just coming up week instead of 2 weeks away. But we'll see what what his status is going forward. I mean, if he went out there and did all that on that bum ankle that got stepped on, let me see, Billy Bowman stepped on it, Chandler Zavala stepped on it, and then God, somebody else stepped on it as well. I think Taylor Moton fell into him, So, but yeah, man. Diggett said, hold on, CJ. There's somebody at the door. Sorry about that. It was Drake London. It said, no shit. He was limping, but he's still open. Man, don't do Drake London like that. Don't do him like that. London and Robinson, talent wasted on a losing team this year. Facts, Mr. Hunky Dory. Facts. I was just so happy that that the Falcons did not end their losing streak against us. Okay. that was one of my main concerns. I was just like, Lord, please, 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 don't let the Falcons, don't let the Falcons, us be the Falcons get right game. Okay, because at the time the game started, we were only 2 games ahead of them. Okay, we're 3 now. Like I said, we're half a game back of Tampa Bay, and Atlanta really needed this game. Like, this was a true must win, for them. And you think about it now, the fact that they got to go back to Kirk Cobain Cousins, and my thing is they got hold on, they have if Drake London is out, he's going to be out this week. If he's out any further than that, they have Darnell Mooney, um, David Sills the fifth, and Kadero Hodge as their wide receiver core. Okay, so it doesn't look too promising for them. I'm not going to count anybody out, but it doesn't look promising. All right. Said the pile landed on the ankle also. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take these off here. All right. So I got on the title right here. What a game. Okay. So you had Ted McMillan, 8 receptions, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. Xavier Leggett with the hands catch here, y'all. The hands catch. Reached out and grabbed that ball by the fingertips and brought it back in and made the catch. Survived the ground. Okay, survived the ground and then got up on dollar bill and rolled him back to the sideline. You know what I mean? So shout out to XL. All right, and Bryce Young, 31-45, 448 yards and 3 touchdowns. Okay. Now I know a lot of people are like, well, where has this been at? Okay, and to give my honest opinion, I don't know. Okay, but the thing that I think was different in this game, Dave Canales really opened up the playbook. Okay, you saw Bryce Young be able to spread the ball around. Bryce Young hit, I'm gonna say he hit Ted McMillan, XL, Rico, Tommy Tremble, Jalen Coker, Mitchell Evans, JT Sanders, Bryson Tremaine, and Chuba Hubbard. All caught passes in this game. So I think that's a total 9 different receivers, 8 or 9. All right. He was able to spread the ball around. The offensive line held up enough. Okay, they held up enough to give him time to scan the field. It looked like he was out there actually going through his progressions in this game. I've been hollering about that, especially in the losses that we've had. Well, even in the wins. Okay, he has a bad habit of staring down his first read. His first read is usually Ted McMillan. Okay, he ends up trying to force feed him the ball. And like last week in the Saints game, it was XL in that case. He was staring down XL down in the red zone or close to the red zone, waiting for XL to come open. Jalen Coker flashes open across the middle of the field, but by that time, he's gonna have him take off and run because Icky's man got past him. Okay, but it did look like he was going through his progressions a lot better, in this game. I don't know if that's something that they worked on this week in practice. But these and even later in the game on the when Mitchell Evans caught that long pass down the field, y'all, they faked this screen, okay, and did a damn good job with it too. They faked the screen to the left, had I think it was Ted act like he was going back to get the screen, and I think shoot, everybody, maybe like one offensive lineman stayed back and blocked, and they had 2 tight ends on the right side of the formation, and Mitchell Evans just kind of ever so slightly ran across the middle of the field and just wide open. All right, Bryce throwing the ball, he got down the field a little bit. Okay, but like I said, I think this was a game where and one thing I said earlier on a Panther Journey podcast. Oh, and also, and let me say this as well. For those of y'all that have been watching my channel, now if you see on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, the Panthers Germany podcast will be streaming on this channel as well. All right, y'all make sure y'all go over there and subscribe to Wiley's channel. We're trying to fast track Wiley to get him to 1,000 subscribers. Okay, so make sure y'all go out and check out Panthers Germany podcast. Make sure you subscribe to Mr. Wiley's channel. Okay. But like I said, I think the playbook was opened up, a lot in this game. I think that was part of the issue. Okay. Like I said, we don't know what the reads are on a lot of these plays. We don't know what's his first read. Well, Well, we pretty much know what his first read is a lot of time, but we don't know his progression through the read. What's his second, third, or whatever. You know what I mean? But it looked like in this game he knew where his check downs were at. Okay, and that play at the end of regulation almost when he hit Rico Dowdle when they showed the blitz, they blitzed. And then he tossed the ball over Rico. And the thing was, Rico would have had a clean touchdown. And I know I heard somebody say that Rico didn't see Cade Mays and I think Damian Lewis running there with him, but he had to have seen him because at one point they were right there in front of him. Unless his peripheral vision is just that terrible, I think he had to have seen him, but he probably tried to go down there and get by Jesse Bates, and I mean, and by the length of a hair, or whatever, he was out of bounds. You know what I mean? Now mind you, I was happy with the touchdown and I was happy and not happy with it all at the same time because I was like, crap, we scored with too much time left, and I was like, darn, I wish we could have been able to get down the field a little bit more, drain some more time off the clock, and then score. All right. But, it got called back and I was like, okay, well, bet, well, maybe we can still do the same thing. And then I was getting worried. I was like, oh, shoot, maybe that was the only opportunity that we was going to get. But, in the end, Bryce rolled out, found Ted McMillan for the touchdown. And then, threw another good ball to Jalen Coker on the opposite side of the field for the 2-point conversion. All right. But yeah, man, it was just it was just good to see. You know what I mean? It was just really good to see everybody in this game. Hell, Tommy Tremble. Okay, Tommy Tremble with the big catch and run, in overtime. And let me ask y'all this. Let me get y'all opinion on this or not, because I heard this earlier too. What do y'all think about yak? Okay, yards after catch. All right, because a lot of these 448 yards were because the receiver caught the ball and got down the field. Okay, you got the Tommy Tremble catch. XL had one. Ted McMillan had one. Mitchell Evans had one. So what do y'all think about yak and yards after catch? Do y'all think that should be included as yards for the quarterback, or do y'all think that should be excluded and just given to the wide receiver? Because like I said, I heard that earlier today, people talking about Bryce and it was only yards after the catch and this and that. And my thing is, I'm like, but that's the game, you know. I don't know. I just don't hear anybody saying anything if like when Josh Allen threw that pass to Shakir, number 10, in the game a few weeks ago, when he threw that little screen pass. I don't even know if it was a screen pass. He threw that pass to him and he took off and ran for like a 40, 50-yard touchdown. That's the only thing I'm saying. I don't hear anybody say anything about yards after the catch, like when Russell Wilson threw for 400 and something this year, earlier this season. Joe Flacco had a 400-yard game. And mind you, Bryce is the only quarterback this year to have a 400-yard game and actually win the game. Flacco and Russell Wilson lost both of those games earlier this season. Okay, so what do y'all think about the yards after the catch? Do y'all think that diminishes, this 448? Because if I'm not mistaken, if you take away the yards after the catch, Wiley gave me this stat earlier. He would have had, I think, like 230 something yards passing if everybody would have caught the pass and got tackled exactly where they're at. And for a lot of people who have been hollering all season about him being able to throw for over 200 yards a game, even if there wasn't a single yard gain after catch, he still would have had damn near 240, 250 yards. You know what I mean? So let me know what y'all think about think about yak, okay, and how it pertains to the quarterback, their stats, and their total yardage. All right. But again, just a great game, on offense. And what I was saying, and it was crazy because after the first 2 games of the season, the running game was not getting it done. Okay. In the passing game wasn't really getting it done either, except for the Arizona game. All right. And mind you, you call it garbage time all you want to. I call it you go out there and you play whatever the defense is giving you. Okay. Because my thing is, we're making a comeback. I'm not necessarily calling what I call garbage time is when the game is completely out of reach and everybody subs are in the game and they're just trying to get off the field. Okay. So, like I said, a lot of people call that Arizona game garbage time. Me, not so much. I don't completely disagree with you, but I don't agree with you as well. Let me say that. All right. But yeah. So the first two games of the season, the run game was not getting it, and then we got to the Atlanta game, and I went in the live and I told Tony, I said maybe this is one of those situations. Or the old saying is, you run to set up the pass. Okay, so you running the ball, you get those linebackers and safeties to creep down inside, closer to the box, and then you throw it over the top. Okay, that was not working. Now I said maybe in this game Dave Canales will come out here and we'll pass the ball, sling it around a little bit, and try to set up the run. Okay, and I think that's kind of what happened then. It happened better in that week 3 matchup than it did yesterday. But it was one of these situations where the pass game just set up the pass game. It wasn't really setting up to run. The pass was just setting up for more passes. And it worked. Mind you, okay, against the number one ranked pass defense in the NFL. Okay, and hold on, and Big Cuz sent me a he sent me a Twitter post earlier. 5 passing yards versus the Falcons. Baker Mayfield 167. JJ McCarthy 158. Bryce Young in week 3 121. Marcus Mariota 156. Josh Allen 180. Mac Jones 152. Tua, all right, Tua Tagovailoa 205. Drake May 259. Daniel Jones 255. And then you got good old Bryce Young yesterday with 448 yards. All right, 448 yards. Shout out to him because he had one hell of a game. All right. So let me go back here and catch up on the let me see. Catch up on the chat. Slick Vic, what's going on with you, man? How you doing? Miss Hunky Dory said Bryce changed the plays at the line several times. Also called for coverage when he saw a blitz or a better play call. Yo, let me tell you, and another liability that was a liability at times, but I think in the grand scheme of it had an okay game. Chandler Zavala, and I say that because Bryce Young called out the blitz. He called out Billy Bowman coming on the blitz. I think that was Chandler Zavala's man to pick up because when Chandler Zavala caught a glimpse of Billy Bowman going past him, all he tries to throw his arm out while he's doing a combo block with Cade Mays. And I don't even know Cade Mays even really needed the help. You know what I mean? And then that led to the first hit on Bryce where Billy Bowman got his ankle, and then he went to the locker room. Mind you, you come back out, you see Andy Dalton, he got his helmet on. And I'm like, oh, dang. I said, okay, well, Bryce must be done for the game then. The next thing you know, there's Bryce Young standing right next to him with his helmet on. I'm like, yo. But yeah, and that might have something to do with his game, the way his the game that he had was his ability, to read some of the defensive plays that they were trying to do. Now, mind you, there was a few of them where they got into him. James Pierce Jr. Now Bryce he did run into that first sack that he had. Icky did a good job of pushing James Pierce Jr. wide, and around Bryce, but Bryce took off and kind of backed right into the sack. Now they're probably going to give that sack to Icky, but in my mind, I'm not giving that sack to Icky. I think Icky did exactly what he did on most plays, especially like in the Green Bay game. But that was just a situation where Bryce was trying to get out the pocket and really ran right into James Pierce Jr. Okay. Diggett says, slam that like and subscribe button, you slackers. Yeah, hey, so I got 53 watching on 3 different platforms, YouTube, X, and Facebook. Okay. If you haven't, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for me. I appreciate it. Still on my way to my first goal of 2,000 subscribers. All right. And I thank you for all the love and support. Appreciate you, Diggett. All right. SC Panthers, boy, what's going on with you? How you doing, man? Nader, what's going on? I hope Canales can trust the Bama now. Give him freedom at the line. He will tear the defense apart. And you know what? And that's the thing. It's so many things that go on, with the offensive coordinator and his quarterback. We don't know what the game plan was. And like I said, I think that Dave was so hell bent on being a run first team, especially after those few games that we had with Rico, didn't do as much those next two because he was trying to do the juggling act between Chuba and Rico. I think he was trying to be fair to Chuba, for 2 games. it probably would have took me to halftime of that first game to realize, okay, cool. You know what? We tried it. We gave it a good shot. This is not working. Let's put Rico in. But I'm not a head coach. I'm sitting here in my chair talking to you guys on YouTube. All right. but but yeah, man, and like I said, in the same thing like with Bryce, we don't know exactly what the situation is with the game plan, what his reads are on certain plays, but there were a lot of plays, and I think a lot of y'all will agree there were a lot of plays in that game that we haven't seen the Panthers run in quite a while. Okay. And like I said, and that was against the number one ranked pass defense in the NFL as of yesterday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So yeah. But yeah. All right. Miss Hunky Dory said, Native, sir, I agree. Dave, like a scared dad. Sometimes you gotta take the training wheels off for good or bad. Hey, for real. Hey, you gotta let it go. Let it go. Said, no need to change the rules now. Okay, talking about the yak. Leave it how it is. Yeah. So LOL, Yak had to do with the QB finding a good the Yak had to do with the QB finding a good target or great play. Got you. Yak is part of the play. Credit goes to both the QB and the catcher. I 100% agree. It's always been that way in NFL history. Are they going to go into the history books and change every QB stats? And like I said, I don't think, and I'm not saying the NFL is thinking about doing this, but I heard a lot of people saying stuff about, oh, he didn't throw for that many yards. It was yards after catch. And like I said, at what time, has that not been a thing? You know what I mean? But a lot of people try to use it because of Bryce. You know what I mean? So but yeah, I got you. Slick Vic said Jacoby Brissett had almost 400 plus yards and lost. Yeah, they played 49ers, who we would have to play on Monday night. What's up, Ghost Daddy? Said, yeah, garbage time is BS. I feel you. Will, Yak is a passing stat. Only BY9 haters use it as the demerit. Gotcha. Now it's laser in design. Did the wide receiver get credit for the yard before the catch? If so, then it is what it is, a team sport. Facts, dear. Facts. Native says, Mr. Hunky Door, he wasn't Heisman winner for no reason. That's what Clowney told him. Hey. Said, well said and damn good point. Rico said it was his man, right? I don't know. I don't know. I didn't hear the interview with Rico. It might have been. It might have been. I did hear somebody say something about Rico was just kind of dilly-dallying in the backfield, and I got to go back and watch that play. Like I said, I've been on the go a lot today, so I haven't had a chance to take a look at all 22. And it's crazy because last year the all 22 would never come out until like Tuesday. Now you get the all 22 Monday morning as soon as you wake up, and I swear I'll never get a chance to look at it in time. Miss Hunky Dory said Penix. SI was not bad. Bad QB. Atlanta is us 2 years ago. Yeah. But now mind you, I'm not gonna say Atlanta was us 2 years ago because they do have a lot more pieces than we did in Bryce Young's first year. Now I know there's a lot of people out there that's gonna argue me down left and right about that, but you know what? It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. All right. Native said, hey, CJ, is Evero keeper or not? Knowing he will have some more dog on his defense. You know what, Nathan? I'm gonna save this comment and we're gonna get back to that in the next slide because I got an opinion on that. All right. So I would say Bryce needs to add 10, 15 pounds of muscle, at least him. Yeah, I can agree with that. Now, mind you, I think he's definitely put on a little bit of weight, since he came out of college. But you got to give it to him. That's a tough little dude, man. That is a tough little dude. Let me see. Good to see Thornton getting some play at nickel. Yo, Rock Jones, let me tell you, I thought that Shaw Smith Wade was like a last minute injury scratch. When I saw him out there, I said, well, what happened to Shaw? And then next thing I know, I see Shaw, running down the field on special teams. And I'm like, oh. So I'm sitting there like, okay. So now we out here making these decisions. It's like, bet. Austin Corbett, we love what you've done for us. We're gonna sit you down in this game. We're gonna try something different. Okay. Because Austin Corbett was getting pushed back like he was on skates past couple weeks. Love him to death. Think he's been great for the team, but he was. And then and Shao Smith Wade, I don't know what he did, but like I said, Corey Thornton got some burn at the nickel, and I love to see it. I love to see it, and I think he played fairly well. I think he was also aggressive, and he made a couple plays out there too. So yeah, so shout out to him, man. Rico was pass pro on the opposite side that Bowman came on. Gotcha, dig. Okay, gotcha. What's up, Steven? He said, God damn it, this is our land. What up, CJ? Said, I'm in here live tonight. God damn it, this is our land. One time for the next home game. I got you. I got you. What's going on with you, man? Sunky Thor says Thornton was top 5 rated PFF, top 5 rated on PFF this morning. Top 5 for our team. I was like, wow. I think he was the top rated defender on our team of yesterday as well. So yeah, so shout out to Corey Thornton. All right. But back to this real quick. Like I said, great game for the offense. They were moving the ball, they were clicking. Bryce was spreading the ball around. Like I said, he completed passes to like 9 different receivers. So it was a hell of a game. Like I said, and nothing makes me more happier than this picture right here on the bottom left with XL reaching out and catching that ball with the tips of his finger. Fingertip catch almost. Brought the ball in, survived the ground, touchdown. All right. Then it says, how come ref couldn't see the review on Rico's step on the line? They said because the New York has a better camera. Why not ref see that also? Well, I think what they do is when the refs go to that little monitor that's on the stand, they are in contact with New York, and New York is telling them what they see, and maybe the refs see that on that little camera as well. But it's not something that they have. I think that the broadcast has access to, because I think those cams are strictly for the replay officials, back at NFL headquarters. All right. So I'm assuming, okay, but that's my answer to your question. D Cash, what's up? Canales said Thornton was a better matchup because he knew they would try to move London around. Move London around. Let me tell you, they avoided J.C. Horn all game just about. Every time and it was crazy. Every time you saw Drake London, he was in the darn slot. Okay. Now, mind you, he had 100 yards receiving at the end of the first half. Okay. And he ended up with 119. Okay. So 19 yards in the second half. All right. But yeah, man, I'm just and shout out to hold on, I'm gonna hold that thought for the next slide. All right. Easy to stay away from JC. He plays short side of the field. True. This is true. This is true. But I mean, and it's a copycat league. That's not anything that any other team hasn't done all season long. Go back to the Dolphins game. Okay. Go back to the Cowboys game. Go back to the Patriots game. Okay. Let me tell you, they be burning Mike Jack's side of the field up, dog. I mean, burning it up. Let me see. Chucktown Panther, what's going on with you? Said new area code 448, Young County, Atlanta. Hello. Said Rico's Bunions went into the white. Yo, but you not far off, Mr. Hunky Dory. Let me tell you, man. Me personally, I was looking and I was like, man, I said, unless that other angle, just because from the ones we were seeing on TV, I was sitting there like, man, let me tell you, I can look and say that, there's not enough evidence to say that he stepped out of bounds. But like I said, the other camera angle that they got, they must have saw it. So, but yeah, he said Bunions went into the white. That is hilarious. Said why not everybody see that, CJ? I don't know. I don't know, dog. I don't know. All right, cool beans. Okay, so that's enough about the offense for the moment. Okay, we're gonna swing back to the offense here in a minute. All right, the defense, tale of two halves, as I like to call it. Okay. Bijan and the Atlanta Falcons offense was running wild on the Panthers in the first half. Okay. Michael Penix was dropping back. And again, I will say this, okay? I do not like that soft coverage that Evero plays, that soft zone. I do not like it. Okay. And maybe it's a thing where um we have to get more players in here who are better suited, in that zone style defense. Maybe that's something that's part of the plan. They're going to work on it this off season. Maybe this is a season. Okay, cool. We brought in some pieces, but we still got to make it. Still got to kind of get by, until next year. All right. But even still, I do not like that soft zone because I think there's enough film on Evero's defense and this Carolina Panthers roster, how it's constructed right now, where the offensive coordinators are looking and like, okay, cool. You know what? This person right here is not going to be good at covering this zone, or this person not going to be good on this zone. And my thing is like, and Mike Jack, poor Mike Jack. You get a speedy wide receiver and they put him over on that side. He's kind of in a no-win situation. He'll get beat deep like he did in the in the Miami game with Jalen Waddle. He's already 10 yards off the line of scrimmage to prevent himself from getting beat deep. So when you get third down in short situations, he's bailing out. By the time the receiver gets to the sticks, Mike Jack is just now trying to make up ground to get to him. And he's already got the first down. You know what I mean? So things like that, like I said, I do not like that soft zone coverage. I don't even like when J.C. Horn is playing on the other side of the field. You know what I mean? I still think there's some situations, when they do go his way that probably wouldn't be like that if he was allowed to play a little bit more man. You can mix it up. You can play man on one side and play zone on the other. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that you go out there and put Mike Jack in press coverage, every play. But it would be good, in my opinion. And I know y'all hear me say this every week, and I'm gonna keep saying it every week. Not have him playing in the parking lot on third down and short every game. And they did a little bit of that. They did a little bit of that in yesterday's game. Because if I'm not mistaken, it was either the play in overtime, not the play in overtime, but the play in the fourth quarter, nearing the end of regulation. He was playing man coverage on Drake London and was able to stay and stick with him and was able to make a play on the ball and incomplete pass. You know what I mean? So shout out to Mike Jack for that. But you got to remember though, Drake London is a big dude and he's not a burner either. He's not going to go out there and just torch somebody and be 10 yards, pass him down the field. But even still though, shout out to Mike Jackson for that play. But like I said, a tale of two halves. Bijan Robinson was getting his way. He had open lanes. He was making people miss. He was breaking tackles. The first touchdown he got, my man Gibson. Gibson had him by a shoulder pads. Trayvon Merrick had him by the foot. He somehow bounced and hopped out of that and ran on to the end zone. There was another play where he stopped and cut back, and I forgot who it was, but just kept right on going. And then Bijan ran up the field. And I think he got another first down. All right, second half. Okay, second half. If I'm not mistaken, and because Tony told me this earlier, and I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't necessarily paying too much attention to who was a nose tackle because I kind of just assumed it was always gonna be Derek Brown, Ashawn, or they come out and then they put kind of like their NASCAR package in where you have Turk Wharton, DJ Wanham, Princely Umar-Miel and Nick Scorton, all you faster players trying to get to the quarterback, on third down. But you saw a little bit more Bobby Brown, the third in that second half, and what have I been saying all year long? He is somebody you're gonna have to double team him, okay? He does not get easily pushed back from the line of scrimmage. You have seen tape on him where he can get into the backfield and make plays. He did get a holding call on him. I thought it was but then when I watched the replay, I was like, okay, all right, yeah, he did grab him. You know what I mean? But him being in the game, if I'm not mistaken, that's him in this picture right here on the right side. But him in the game. Bijan Robinson got, let me see, probably about 11 yards rushing in the second half. 93 in the first. He ended up with 104. There was one play, I think it was on the third down. Bijan got stopped in the backfield. Nick Scorton had a nice play of getting Bijan was getting blocked by Kyle Pitts. I'm sorry, Bijan. Nick Scorton was getting blocked by Kyle Pitts. Nick Scorton pushed Kyle Pitts so far back in the backfield so fast he pushed him into Bijan's lane, and Bijan didn't have enough time to cut back, and Nick Scott was able to make the tackle. Okay. Like I said, they didn't get any sacks in this game. Late in the game, they got enough pressures. They were able to get stops, were able to get the ball back. There were times when the offense didn't make it on fourth downs in the second half, and the defense went out there and got them the ball right back. You know what I mean? Zane Gonzalez, who was a former Panther, was their field goal kicker. So they got 2 field goals in the second half, and that was it. Okay. I could just imagine what this game would have been like if the Panthers would have played that way the entire game. It just might have been a not a replica, but closer to what we saw in the first game. I don't think we would have skunked them 30-0 this time, but we would have got that second half defense in the first half as well. I don't think Atlanta would have came close to having 27 points. All right. And again, and I say all this to say as well, all right, Nader, and I got your comment right here. And he said, "Hey, CJ, is Evero a keeper or not? Knowing he will have some more dogs on this defense." Um, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Like I said, there's still some things about this defense that I cannot stand. Okay, I absolutely cannot stand. But I cannot sit here and discredit Evero totally because he did something this last game that I've been begging for him to do all season. You go into halftime and you make adjustments. Okay. They went into halftime, they made adjustments, they came out, and that second half defense, excuse me, was the complete opposite of what you saw in the first half. Okay. And we know this type of defense, it can be good. Okay. It might be a situation where they're still waiting to get some more personnel in on that defense, as well. But I mean, if the defense keeps playing like this and he doesn't get another head coaching job and they don't block him from trying to go after another head coaching job, yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back. I just hope that the things that he has done well this season, he'll continue to build on those things, next year if he is still here. Like I said, I wish he would get to a point where he didn't run that soft coverage all the time. But again, I am armchair GM sitting here at my desk, and he is on the NFL staff coaching the defense. So I can sit here and criticize all day, but it is what it is. But I don't know yet, Nader. I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll see. But like I said, if they keep it up like it's been going now, he'll be back unless somebody pulls the trigger and makes him a head coach. Because I do think there are going to be quite a few openings this offseason. Quite a few. All right. Let me see. Evero future is on the next 2 games. Man, let me tell you. We got San Francisco and we got the Rams. Boy, it's 2 doozies. Hey, and also, and speaking of the Rams game, just like the Saints game earlier, week 4 last, I do have 2 tickets. Hold on, let me get this off. I do have 2 tickets for the Rams game as well. Okay. So on the preview, let me see, November 29th, that's Saturday. Okay. I'll be raffling off 2 tickets for that game. There are 2 ways to enter. You can join the Co-GM membership on YouTube, or you can shoot me $10 to the Cash App and just write in there, entry for the LA Rams game. Okay. So go ahead and make sure I get the word out here early. And if y'all want a chance to win, this is how you can do it. All right. And let me get this here off the screen and get everything else up here. Okay, bet. But yeah, like I said, tell of 2 halves with the defense. But I'm glad. I'm glad it wasn't a situation where it was reversed. I'm glad we didn't get the good defense in the first half and the bad defense in the second half. So I'm happy the way it turned out. Rock Jones said Evero has a tough matchup Monday night versus Shanahan. Yes, he does. Yeah, yes, he does. Christian McCaffrey is out there. Christian McCaffrey, he is currently their leading rusher. And if I'm not mistaken, he's their leading rusher and leading receiver, or second leading receiver for the 49ers. He got 700 yards rushing and 700 yards receiving. So, like, Christian McCaffrey is out there doing Christian McCaffrey things. Okay. And hold on 1 second here. Let me see if I can't get that to focus back. All right, there we go. Okay. Cool. Miss Hunky Dory said no, he's safe here. Like Nene said, I would add all the remaining games, but no to a head coaching position. Okay, I got you, Miss Hunky Dory. I got you. All right. Okay. So now the thing is, all right, we have had our ups and downs with Bryce his whole career. All right. Definitely the first season was just down. All right. It wasn't too many ups. All right. Ups and downs last season, ups and downs this season. Okay. So the thing is, all right, I know a lot of us are happy the way this game turned out. We're happy that he went out there and played the way he did. Okay. But we got to be realistic. Okay. We got to be realistic with ourselves and we got to be realistic with this team. Can we keep this going, everybody? Okay. Can we keep this going? We talked a little bit earlier about, expectations from here on out, for the rest of the season. All right. And I don't expect Bryce Young to go out there and throw for 450 a game, almost 450 a game. It would be lovely if he could do that. I don't think that's what we're going to see from this team every game from here on out. Okay. For me personally, what I would like to see is a nice balance. Okay. Mind you, if Bryce has to go out there and throw for 300, I want to be able to see him do this again. Okay. If the run game is because the thing is, everybody's going to be keying in on Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard. All right. Because it's still, even though Bryce Young threw for 448 yards, I guarantee you the overwhelming theme for the defenses that we're going to face from here to the end of the year is we still got to shut this run game down and make Bryce beat us with his arm. Because there are a lot of teams going to be looking at this as if it's a fluke. You know what I mean? And they're going to be like, okay, well, cool. He did it once. Can he do it again? All right. What I'm hoping to see is what we saw in this game. But as far as the play calling, I hope Dave Canales looks at this film, looks at the plays that he called and the way that he called these plays, and hopefully he integrates that into his game plans, into his play calling for the remainder of the games. All right. He's going to go out there and he's going to want to run the ball. All right. He wants to be a run first. Wants it to be a run first offense. He wants to establish the run. And I'm not mad at him. Okay. But like I said earlier, if you go out there and you have 2 straight drives of that other team stuffing your running back at the line of scrimmage, you getting a yard here, 2 yards here, maybe 3 yards. You get a whole quarter and your longest rush is 3, maybe 4 yards. I need Dave to be like, okay, cool. Let's go ahead and let's try something different. All right. Don't wait till the next game to try something different. You need to have that something different locked and loaded up to be able to go ahead and try and use it in the current game. Okay. I think sometimes he gets a little stagnant, a little stiff with his play calling, and you get that scripted first drive, everything works good. Okay. And then it's like, all right, bet I'm going to do this. And it's like, crap, when that doesn't work, he doesn't have a plan B, and we get to a situation like the damn Saints game. All right. I want to see a balance. If Bryce Young has to go out there and throw for 300 yards, cool. If Rico has another game where he runs for 200 yards or 180, and he's able to get us two touchdowns, and Bryce doesn't have to throw for but 150, 160 yards, I'm cool with that. Okay, I'm fine with that as well. But I think for me is whatever the current game that we're playing that week, okay, whatever the circumstances dictate for this offense to do, I want to see the offense be able to do it. Okay. If running it is the preferred method that game is working, run that damn ball. All right. And then Bryce, when you get your opportunities and you called on to make a tough play, convert third down, go out there and do your thing. All right. But if that run game is being shut down like it has been for the most part in these past 2 games, okay, the Saints and Atlanta didn't allow us but 67 yards total. If that run game ain't getting it, I want to see more of this here. Okay. And like I said, I don't expect it to be 448 yards, but I want to see this playbook open up and Bryce throwing the ball down the field. All right. I want to see these same plays that we saw versus Atlanta from here on out for the rest of the season. Okay. Or, some type of a mixture. You know what I mean? They might not be able to go out there and call these exact same plays the way he called them in yesterday's game, Monday night versus the 49ers. Okay. But still, I hope he has his game plan set and he's able to keep a balance on this offense. All right. And the thing is, we've been hollering and screaming, at least I know I have. for Bryce to be more consistent. Okay. When Bryce does good, I like to praise him. He does good. Okay. When Bryce has a bad game, he deserves all the smoke that we can give him. Okay. Um, but the thing is, he can't go out there and keep doing this whole Jekyll and Hyde thing. Like especially if the run game ain't working. All right. I would love for Bryce to be able to go out there and average, like a lot of people say, if he go out there and average 220 yards a game for the rest of the season, we get a few more wins. I think that I think a lot of people would take that. Even a lot of people who can't stand Bryce's guts. I think a lot of them would be happy with that, and we could win some more games. Okay. But no more games like the Saints game where you go out there, you're missing people, you're only throwing for 120 yards or whatever it was, 104 yards, whatever Bryce Young had last week. No more games like that. He's got to consistently go through his reads. He's got to consistently find his wide open receivers. And there's going to be times where he's going to have to go out there and make plays. He's going to have to thread that ball into tight windows. And he's going to, he's got a bum ankle. Okay. It might be some times where he might have to take off and run a little bit, and also I need a young brother to learn how to slide as well. Okay. We somebody got to teach Bryce Young how to slide. Got to. If you don't do it this season, by the end of this season, please work on that in the off season. All right. So let me get back to the comments. Poppin', what's going on with you, big dog? How you doing, man? Sunky Dory said Monday night going to be a real test for us. This is the game that shows where we are headed and what we still need. I agree. Well, hey, let me tell you, I think you can say that for the rest of the season. I think you say that for every game from here on out. To be honest with you, we got Seattle, we got the Rams. Hell, we still got 3/4 of the damn NFC West. They only got one bad team, and that's Arizona. The rest of them jokers are balling. Okay, so yeah, and then we got Tampa Bay twice, and we got to go down to New Orleans. All right, and I'm hoping the Panthers are upset and looking to get some get back down in New Orleans. All right. D Cash said, "Facts, CJ. Appreciate you." The big change going into the future is that we can throw multiple long balls. We have not done that for many seasons, not games, but seasons. A deeper threat has not been there to open up the field. I will agree. And I thought that XL would get a lot more attempts down the field since we've drafted him. It might be a play where Dave gonna have to do a lot more of that scheme XL open. You know what I mean? And Bryce is gonna have to find him here. Now, mind you, there was a play earlier in the game. Bryce did a pump fake. Okay, Jesse Bates bit hard on the pump fake, and let me tell you, that was probably gonna be a touchdown. I can't remember my man's name, but he came around the corner and hit Bryce's arm, and the ball fell, short about 10 yards down the field. Okay. But yeah, it was a beautifully drawn up play. Jesse Bates bit on the fake like super. He bit hard on the fake. I mean, bit hard. And Tet was getting past his receiver, and that was either going to be a touchdown or a contested catch. He probably got tackled where he was at. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. And mind you, even still though, I would love to see Jimmy Horn get integrated into this offense a little more. It was nice to see him go in jet motion, in the jet sweep motion, and not get the handoff, because but it's like every time he gets on the field, he's going in motion. Like, how many times you gonna have him out there as a decoy? Man, I get it. Do I think they underutilize him a little bit? Yes. You know what I mean? But again, as I like to say, sitting here at my desk, and that's our offensive coordinator / head coach on the screen. Native says, have the same game plan for San Fran. Let everybody touch the ball. Non-receivers, just like against Atlanta, we can beat them. Yeah, I think we got a shot. I'm not going to say yay or nay, or it's a definite or not a definite. But I said this on the last live. That's the live before that. I think we got a shot in San Francisco. I honestly think we do have a shot. All right. DCAS said native facts and spread the ball, keep them guessing. Yep. Let me see. Balled on half a leg. Yeah, man. Yeah. Like I said, you can't you can't question his toughness now. Bryce slide is terrible. Yeah, his slide is atrocious, man. It is atrocious. It's like he starts taking the little tiny steps and then just try to have a seat like this. It's bad. But yeah, they gotta they gotta teach him. Where the like said, hey, he sleep right now. He 9 hours ahead of us. He is in the bed. That jet sweep decoy can be deadly though. Oh yeah, I feel you. I feel you. And I think that the jet sweep itself is a good play for Jimmy Horn. But my thing is when he gets in the game and either he's getting the jet sweep or he's a decoy, I still think that's a little predictable. You know what I mean? Like get him some more plays in the offense, running routes, catching passes. That's my only thing with that. I don't dislike the jet sweeps, and I don't dislike him about it being a decoy. But if the defense knows as soon as he get in the game, okay, cool. Watch out for the jet sweep. Watch out for the decoy because that's all they're gonna use him for, except for maybe a couple plays this year. That's all I'm saying about that. Let me see. Give Bryce time. He could tear any defense just like Alabama. Yes, sir. Well, and I'm hoping that plays out. I'm hoping that plays out. And I will say it like that because this isn't Alabama. It's definitely not Alabama. I hope that he can get that consistently. Okay. Because we've seen him have time in the pocket, especially early last year, and he just glitched out and couldn't do anything with it. All right. Said one of my fave armchairs. Hey, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Hey, look, Wiley sleep too, dog. Wiley 6 hours ahead. He in the bed. uh, we do have a good kicker. Yes, yes, yes. Let me tell you, you miss Uncle Do it. I'm not putting that up there. And he's a rookie. Okay. Hopefully he can be with us for many, many years to come. Yeah, and he's gone out there, he's done his thing. He's only missed a couple field goals this year, done it and kicked quite a few game-winning field goals for us. So yeah, we do have us a good kicker. Just, hopefully we don't let him go. Said Ryan Fitz clutch. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. But again, with Dave Canales and his play calling, his scheme, Bryce Young with his execution, out there on the field. I just hope that we can consistently see this for the rest of this season and beyond. Okay. The rest of this season and beyond. Will, what's going on, man? Thank you for the $5 super chat. It says CJ, I can hear the Bryce haters digging up the goalpost and moving it back 50 yards. They said, nah, you got to throw this out in the parking lot. Hey, again, man, thank you for the super chat, Will. I appreciate you. Nell says, well, Dak has fumbled and my mother is frustrated. Whoa, yo, let me tell you, my mother-in-law, let me tell you, if you ain't got your mother-in-law like the mother-in-law I have, you definitely missing out. Let me tell you, when I say that's a great woman, I love her to death. She takes care of all of us. She is helpful. She is kind. She is loving, and I greatly appreciate her. And I hope she's watching this. So Mom, I definitely appreciate you. But she is a Cowboys fan, and yeah, she has had a lot of frustrations this year with Dallas Cowboys. And hopefully, if there's any food left when I get in the house, I'm going to cut this little thing short right here and leave it alone. DCAT said when we doing okay, we get hit with the toughest remaining schedule. Shaking my head. I just playoffs, dog. Well, I put it like this, okay? We won 5 games last year. We've already eclipsed that this year, okay? It is going to be a tough road for us to make the playoffs, all right? Because we are probably okay. We'll get in that in a little bit. We're gonna talk about the road to the playoffs here in a little bit. Or did I hold on? Let me make sure I put that slide in here. Yes, I did. Okay, it's the next slide. All right. Well, you know what? Let's let's go ahead and go to that here in a second. All right. So I take more offensive line next draft, also best available. Yeah, facts. Said not a cowgirl fan. Dak LL poor mom says she can't sit next to my brother and I will pass tissue to them both. When is Reds for him live? I don't know. I'm going to like I said, I'm going to go to the post office in the morning and mail this down there to him. I'm gonna try to get up with him and see if maybe he can join me on the preview on Saturday. I'm not in no rush for him to wear. I just want to see him wear it and I just want to be able to screenshot it. and possibly put it as my avatar for a few lives. What's up, Austin? From JCSU winning the CIAA championship to the Panthers sweeping Atlanta, been a good weekend. Next up, 49. Yeah, hey, shout out to the Golden Bulls, man. First time they won a conference title in 53 years. 53 years. Shout out to them, man. Yes, sir. I know all the JCSU alumni are proud today. That please use Horn more often. Facts. When he is not popping, he said he on everybody podcast, sun up to sundown. Yeah, but it's a Red. Yeah, let me tell you, hey, Red is a character. I love Red to death. Let me tell you, the one thing about Red I like the most, Red can talk a lot of trash, but you know what? He shows up. He is there. You know what I mean? He is there when he's catching smoke. He's not dodging. Red don't dodge nothing. I appreciate that about Red. Red can talk jump, but he can also take a joke as well. But yeah, but Red's my dude too, man. Yo, shout out to Red Swarm. You know, or I like to call them now 2 teams. All right, so next slide. Okay, so the schedule. All right, talking about playoffs. All right, so we are still second in the NFC South. All right, currently by half a game. Again, shout out to Buffalo Bills. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills for beating the Bucks yesterday. We're 6-5, and we're still ninth in the NFC playoff picture. Okay, and you know what? And let me go and bring that up real quick. So the standings. Okay, playoff. All right. Excuse me. So now the Bears have officially taken over first place in the NFC North. So they're now the number 3 seed behind Philly and the Rams. All right. Tampa Bay is the 4 seed because they're still ahead of us in the division. Seattle has dropped from the 2 seed down to number 5 because the Rams beat them. All right. Green Bay is sitting at the 6. San Francisco is sitting at 7. Detroit is at 8. And the Panthers are sitting right there at 9. All right. So, like I said, this is going to be a tough road because we're going to have to hope that San Francisco and Detroit suffer some more losses and we'll be able to pick up some more wins. Hopefully, one of those losses for the 49ers will be this week, this Monday against us. All right. So my thing is here. You know, we got we beat Atlanta, and the crazy thing, this is where that game versus the Saints like really hurts, y'all. Like really hurts. If we would have won that game, we'd be 7-4 right now, y'all. 7-4, and you know we'd be in number 4 spot because we would be in the lead for the division right now. All right. You know, as I said, games like that, they're really important. You can't throw away, you know, prime opportunities like that against the worst team, or arguably one of the worst teams in the NFL and the worst team in the division. Okay. So we got a tough task Monday night, but like I said, I do think that there's a chance for us to pull that out. All right. Then the Rams, let me tell you, the Rams is going to be a game. All right. It's going to be a game. Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams, they are balling. That is going to be a test for Carolina, and luckily it's at home. But that is going to be a test. If it's one game where I say that we might not win, or we probably won't win, it's going to be that one. Okay. I know that the Panthers can't wait for the bye week to come. You know, a week off. Hopefully, get some people who have been nicked up, especially our quarterback, get them nice and healthy, have a week to rest their ankle, and then we come back and we go down to the Saints. All right. I'm circling the Saints game as a must win, as a definite must win. Okay. I put it like this. Okay. We need to split San Francisco and LA. All right. We need to go 1-1 in those games. Okay. We need to beat the Saints down in New Orleans. All right. And we also need to split with Tampa Bay at the bare minimum. We need to split with Tampa Bay. Okay. So if we split with San Francisco and LA, all right, that's 7. We beat New Orleans, that's 8. We split with Tampa Bay, that's 9. Okay. That would assure us a winning season for the first time in God knows how long. I can't remember the last time we had a winning season. 17, 18, somewhere around there, if I'm not mistaken. Seattle is going to be another tough game. Luckily, it's at home. Okay, luckily it's at home. But I see, you know, unless they change something up, Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to be in the slot all game, or going to be on the wide side of the field, staring Mike Jackson in the face. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think it comes down to at the bare minimum, if we can split the next 2 weeks, beat the Saints, and then we split the Bucks. And if hopefully by some stroke of luck, if we're able to get LA or Seattle, you know what I mean? We might be in contention, everybody. We might be in contention. I stress might, okay? We might be in contention. But trust me, that is a far cry from where we have been the past 2 years. And y'all think about what we're going to be talking about if we are in contention in week 17 and 18 for a playoff spot. All right. Hopefully we get it. If we don't, I still think it'll be us trending in the right direction as a team, as an organization, as the organization's front office. All right. But yeah, let me see. So he got to wear it for 1 hour. I'm gonna be watching. Yeah. That was our rule. Whoever has to wear the chain, they got to wear it for at least an hour. Camera on. We have to pay for play 4 out of 7 to be safe for the playoff. Any way you look at it, facts. Every game is a playoff game from here on out. We have got to beat 49ers and Rams. I feel you. I feel you. But I do think that's going to be a tall task to come out of both of those games 2-0. I don't think it's impossible. All right. But that's a very tall task. At least 1-1. I think we can beat the Rams at home. Maybe we get the Rams, but probably the Niners. Yeah. It's crazy. We turned into a team who couldn't win on the road to a team who lost the past couple at home, and now we've won the past 3 on the road. So crazy. All right, but yeah, so I'll keep this updated week by week on the schedule. As we continue to get toward the latter part of the season, and hopefully, I can add quite a few more green W's to this slide here. All right, okay. Stock up. All right, without question. Bryce Jarquavius Young, as PvP calls him. Stock up on Bryce. Stock up on the receiving core. Stock up on Dave Canales opening up the playbook, y'all. Stock up on that. I will also say this, okay? I'm gonna give stock up to Chandler Zavala for being able to get through a whole game without getting hurt. All right, and I'm not trying to be funny, not trying to pick at the man, but he's had some health issues. He usually gets in the game and he don't make it through the whole game. He did it early this year. So shout out to Chandler Zavala for being able to make it through this whole game. Shout out to Evero on the adjustments that he made at halftime. Okay. Shout out, stock up to Corey Thornton, who a lot of us wanted him to be on the field more this season earlier this year. Okay. Hopefully this game will send a message to Evero. Maybe he gets him more involved in the defense from here on out. Okay. Maybe he's one of those players that he can switch in and out like they do Lathan Ransom when he comes in, when it's him and Nick Scott as safeties and Trayvon Merrick is down there playing that big nickel / linebacker spot. Maybe they'll fit Corey Thornton into the mix some more. Stock up Nick Scorton. Had a good game as well. The damn good game. Okay. Stock up to Ryan Fitzgerald for hitting the game winning field goal. All right. And like I said, stock up to the defense as well, especially with that second half. And let me say this. Okay. It's somebody I've been very critical of. Shout out to Nick Scott for not having any plays where we're like, what in the hell is he doing? You know what I mean? He has not had that many plays this year, where it's just like, dude, why are you over here and you're supposed to be way over there? Okay, so stock up to Nick Scott. And I hope I don't regret saying this, but I'm gonna say it. Stock up to Nick Scott for just doing what the hell he's supposed to be doing out there. All right. Stock down. The only stock down I'm gonna give is that first half defense. Okay. Stock down the first half defense and stock down to them daggum referees, man. Wade, I wish I could grab that darn arrow and throw it through the table on this damn slide. Stock down to the referees, man. Stock down to the referees in general this year, man. Them guys are trash. Trash. That's why I say expand what you can challenge and expand what the capabilities of replay. Okay. And I get it. These guys are human. All right. But there are some plays out there that are just completely egregious and just, they shouldn't be allowed to stand. All right. But yeah, And also, my bad. Hey, stock up Jalen Coker. Let me tell you, Jalen Coker. If this is the start of him getting in a rhythm or back in a rhythm with Bryce Young, watch out. All right. Hey, watch out. Watch out. All right. So, but yeah, y'all. That's all I have for y'all tonight, man. And like I said, I appreciate everybody for joining me. Okay, I appreciate everybody for sitting up here and listening to me talk. For an hour and 27 minutes. All right. I don't think I'm that interesting of a person, but I appreciate y'all hanging and chilling with me tonight. All right. Let me see. Okay. Coco was rocking the game. Yes, he was. And they said, how about the number 57 undrafted rookie from Gamecock? Oh yeah, Shout out to Bam Martin Scott for the forced fumble on that kick return, and then Princely Umar yelling, jumping on it and recovering. Yes, sir. Shout out to him. Oh, and again, I didn't look today, but I'm curious to see what the status of Christian Roseboom. Okay, because he got hurt late in the game. If y'all didn't notice, there was a point on the during the game where, hold on, let me go back to it. Because I gotta get the Panthers depth chart up here real quick. Claudius Shirellis and what was my man name? Let me see, Miami Jungmeta. Miami Jungmeta were on the field playing linebacker late in the game. Okay, so no Trevin Wallace and no Christian Roseboom late in the game. So I'm curious to see what becomes of that, because there was a deep pass down the field and it was missed, but you can clearly see him in the replay, grabbing his hamstring. I mean, I give him credit. I'll give him credit. He was still running. Hand on his hamstring and all. He was still running. He didn't fall. He limped to the sideline and we didn't see him again. But yeah. But shout out to Bam Martin Scott as well, man. Let me see. Spread the ball around. We can beat anybody. I hope so. Stock down to the kick coverage. Oh, man, let me tell you. Oh, stock down to the kick coverage later in the game, because that was the only reason they were able to get that field goal. Because old buddy ran it damn near the midfield. I'm just like, y'all wait until this kick return to do this. All right. But yeah, also stock down to whoever called that play. I'm pretty sure it was Evero in the first half, where they had Princely Umar covering damn Drake London in the slot. And he just sat there and watched him run past him and straight cross the middle of the field and catch a catch a post route. And then go on down the field with it. And I looked at the play. I said, "Why in God's name is Umar Yellen standing out there like he's covering Drake London?" And then he lets him go past him, and nobody picks him up. So stock down for that as well. Let me see. He said, "I don't think I'm an interesting person." Say, "You humble, huh?" I try to be. When I'm not talking shit. Said, but good show. I got here late, but I catch replay. Hey, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Shirellis and Thornton was balling out. Yes, they were. Oh, and yes, and stock up the Claude Shirellis as well. Stock up the Claude Shirellis. Had a great game. He was out there. I mean, just hitting people. He had a couple big hits in this game. So yeah, stock up the Claude Shirellis and shout out to him. All right, but yeah, man. I thank all y'all for joining me. Okay, and look, and as y'all see, I got my setup back there. So, if y'all want something like this done, but with a Panthers logo, okay, I got this. I got them to say keep pounding. I can make custom. I can put your name on it, whatever you want. Send me a message. Y'all got my email. Hit me up on Twitter. Let me know. We'll work something out. All right. And I appreciate the support. And as always, okay, on your way out, everybody, if you haven't, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate all the love and support. Again, I'm on my way to my first goal of 2,000 subscribers. All right. And again, I appreciate all the love and support. And also, you can catch me on all social media at Armchair GMCJ. Now I got to go and find out what kind of a song I'm going to do for my work truck karaoke in the morning that I'll put on TikTok. All right. So I got to find something. Probably, some Atlanta-based song, change the lyrics up just a little bit, make it kind of, Carolina-ish, but kind of funny at the same time. All right. But again, y'all, as always, I'm going to leave y'all with 3 things. Number 1, y'all be good. Number 2, y'all be safe. And number 3, as always, Panther Nation, Keep pounding, man. I'll see